Hi, guys, and welcome to this week's collective reading. I was in Portsmouth this weekend, so I got to pull our cards this morning on the beach, which was so nice to be able to bring that energy in. And I was using some labradorite with the cards that I had found on the beach yesterday. Anyway, I am back home now, and I am excited to go ahead and jump into the cards now that I have my regular setup so that I can do that without it just being my husband holding the camera for me. Right, so our first card is Lemurian Guide, and this is a number 5, which in numerology is all about change. And in the book, it mentions that this is meant to be Ariel. And I work quite a bit with Archangel Ariel. So that's Ariel. This is Ariel, Auriel. And I work quite a bit with Archangel Ariel, which is Ariel. And I see them as the same and different all at once. This is somewhat hard to explain, but with my daughter last year, I taught her about angels and angles, and how angels are all just angles or aspects of God, right? And they are closer to God only because they are literally larger angles, right? And we are like fractals that come through as much smaller angles. And this is the same concept that can help us to understand soul groups or soul families, right? Because if we fall under the same angle, we're in like a soul group or a soul family. And why you may feel a certain affinity to one angel over another, right? So this is why I feel that Ariel and Ariel can be the same and different all at once. There's literally one vowel extra in Ariel because it's Ariel, right? So Ariel is light of God, or the golden girl, which, funnily enough, is also an epithet of Hathor. She's the golden one, right? And Ariel is the lion of God, which for me is Sekhmet, right? And Hathor and Sekhmet have a similar relationship in Egyptian mythology, where in stories they shift from one being to another, right? Because they're just different angles, but they're kind of very close. They're, they're similar and separate at the same time. Anyway, that was like a huge tangent. But back into this card specifically. On the card, right, it says, sister, friend, teacher of infinite universal love. And in the book, it continues to say, marriage of woven and angelic ones, divine union. This is where they bring in that it's Ariel, and it says ground crew angels. Now, Ariel, like I said, she's like got the similar energy as Hathor. She embraces every aspect of those she heals, right? So the happiness and the sparkles, but also the past life wounds and the lost in her children. And she calls them home to the healing heart and to integration, to joy and creativity. So I really see this as being this angle that Hathor comes through as well. And in that motherly way, right? She heals every aspect of you in that motherly way of loving you no matter what, right? And I wouldn't say that this is without judgment, right? Because the mother does judge. But the mother, even while she's judging, tends to put aside that judgment, right? But she'll still do everything in her power to help you however she can. Obviously in like this exalted position, right? because there's obviously shadow mothers for sure, but that's not what we're talking about. So the Lemurian guide card is being clarified by the King of Air. And this is card 14, right? Which also works back down to a number 5 in numerology. So we have 5, 5, 55, definitely an energy of change, right? Freedom, balance, fearlessness. 5 brings in that warrior energy coming through, right? Shifting from Oriel to Ariel and bringing in that warrior energy of Sekhmet, right? This is this changing how we perceive things and how we act, which we'll come into. I don't want to jump ahead too much. Staying here, bringing in this energy of change, right? And the King of Air is disciplined, ethical, commanding, an expert. He's precise. And it's saying that this is a time for ethical behavior with no room for compromise. Because like we said with Ariel up here, right? We've got the energy of motherly healing, but it's not without judgment. Because we're never free of judgment, as universal law rules over all of us. But the King of Air is a just and fair leader, right? He just has this stern and commanding presence, right? And this follows on from either, it was either last week's collective reading or the midweek one. I'm not really sure, but we had this idea come through that it's time for us to make good decisions that are truthful to our heart, right? Because we have to live with ourselves. And when we follow our heart's truth, that's how we become free. I think it was the midweek reading, I feel like, because I'm pretty sure it was the midweek reading, but it's my last video here on YouTube because normally I post that on Instagram, but I had a issue with posting it this past week and it came up on YouTube instead because that's how I could get it up. So anyway, tangent, but if you need to refresh on that message, go back to that reading. And this brings us, right, this energy of following our heart's truth so we can become free. It brings us to the next card of sovereignty, right? And this sovereignty is our right to choose, right? Right to choose and having an immunity to hooks. This idea that we can be immune to things like hooking into us and trying to siphon our energy from us because we own and claim our energy, right? And when we start to be true to ourselves, making decisions based on what our heart tells us is right, right? This helps us to start being able to claim our sovereignty and stand strong in our sovereignty, right? And this is something that is incredibly important to me, right? All of my friends know this. Basically, I'm always going on lengthy talks about personal sovereignty and how important it is. So if you are one of my friends, I'm sorry, but you're going to be hearing this again, right? Sovereignty is taking ownership of your life, not being the victim, right? If you are in a place of saying things are other people's faults or not being able to take control of your life and making up excuses, you're playing the victim. You are not standing strong in your sovereignty, right? Because sovereignty is acting from a place of love, making choices from the heart space, right? Sovereignty is having an enlightened solar plexus, right? Because our solar plexus is where we act from. So it's making choices and actions that you are proud of. And this helps to resolve any shame issues, right? And here on the card, right, the gold dragon is a symbol of the enlightened solar plexus. And it says in the book, right, that the golden dragon is taking you on its back to show you a greater altitude. And it says, observe the density of the human mind and the emotions. Isn't it amazing how you can give yourself away when you're in it. Right, so sovereignty requires zooming out a bit, seeing things from a higher perspective, the bigger picture, right? So you can make right choices. And this is not just being in the emotional mind of always trying to satisfy your next want, right? Having a desire to be pleasing to everyone around you. Sovereignty is not caring. Sovereignty is doing what feels right to you, pleasing yourself. This isn't about being selfish. It's about following your heart and your heart guiding you. But then the actions that you're taking are coming from your solar plexus, right? But the heart is guiding those actions, right? So Ariel, she comes in to guide us through this earthly incarnation, right? Helping us to heal the parts of us that keep us from standing in our sovereignty. And then the King of Air is guiding us to continue to make right choices so we can continue to stand strong in our sovereignty, right? So if you're having a hard time here, you can work with your Lemurian guide, work with Archangel Ariel, Auriel. That's in the feminine form. In the masculine, it's Uriel, and he's the they are the Earth Archangel. They stand for the element of Earth, right? So they're helping us on Earth in our healing, right? And then you can work with the King of Air. You can work with that energy stream to help you work on making these right choices. And the King of Air is really, it's so funny how everything comes together, right? It's Thoth, and this is really funny because I found, I'm gonna see if I can get a good shot of this, but I found a bunch of labradorite on the beach. It's so hard to get the flashes on camera, but it's got some really beautiful blue flashes in it, lots of tourmaline in it. And I found quite a bit of this. We just found this tiny section of the beach that was just full of labradorite, which is another thing. If you've been following me, you know that I really, labradorite is something that the deity or the Neteru, Thoth from Egypt, or Tahuti, I work with labradorite to connect with his energy, and he comes through really, let me make sure that there we go. He comes through in this King of Air energy, this complete control over your mental space, right? Control over your thoughts. But he specifically comes through over your mental space being linked to your heart space. And we've got love here. This is what's really funny because he's really working on that connecting point between the heart and the, it's like the higher heart and then the higher mind. So your higher self aspect, not just your mental mind that is here in our earthly aspect. So it's the mental mind for our higher self aspect. Another tangent. Sorry. I can't help it. I go into a lot of tangents, right? So you can work with Ariel and the King of Air, which I think of as Thoth, to work on your personal sovereignty. So we'll go into Thoth, right? And thought is what creates our reality. It's this idea of I think, therefore I am. Thought is energy. Energy flows where attention goes. And it's this reminder to be mindful of universal laws, right? How we think will give rise to the same energy in our day-to-day lives. And this has been pulled, right, to clarify sovereignty. And this is exactly how I always tell people to start working on their personal sovereignty. Literally start claiming it every day. Say it out loud, claim it. I am a sovereign being. I claim my sovereignty. I stand strong in my sovereignty. I was literally having this conversation with a friend just this past Thursday, right? So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days ago. And you will feel silly at first saying this, but keep doing it and keep saying it. And you will start to believe it. And as you start to believe it, you will start to embody it. Right. So our next card is loss or lack. And it says underneath it, fear and victimization. And I definitely just went straight to the book for this, honestly. And it says that the woman on this card is standing alone in her anxious judgment of her life. So I'm just reading right now, okay? She focuses on past losses and assumes there are more to come. With her fan of owl feathers, she attempts to shield herself from potential hurts. Yet the owl on her shoulder can see through her darkness and guide her out of her fear and lack consciousness. The message on this card is clear. No matter what kind of loss you've experienced in the past, it is absolutely necessary to shift your focus now and redefine your power. Sovereignty. This is our sovereignty, right? So redefine your power. You are no longer the victim of a threatening world. What did I say? That if you are a victim, you cannot be sovereign. If you are calling yourself the victim, right? So you are no longer the victim of a threatening world, frightened and unable to direct your own destiny. In fact, since your consciousness creates your reality, the thought card is so funny. This assumption only keeps your energy stuck. The owl encourages you to leave your victim mentality behind and to see the truth of your eternal courage and power. Eternal courage and power. This is Ariel, right, as the warrior, and sovereignty, your power. When loss comes up in life, right, because we do lose things, right? Losses, it's normal to have these traumas come through, right? When loss comes up in your life, allow yourself to grieve. But don't define yourself by that experience. I love how this is written. Be willing to take charge and set your sights. I love how this is written so much. This is the deck. I've really, really, really been loving this deck. I've been using it a lot, and it's really been great for the energies that are coming up right now, recently. Love it. So where was I? I just love the words. Allow yourself to grieve, but don't define yourself by that experience. Be willing to take charge and set your sights on real solutions and new directions. When you take action and view your life with optimism and self-honoring intentions, you become the director of, rather than the victim of, your own life. This empowered approach may seem strange to you, and you may not fully trust yourself just yet. This is just like how I was saying, claim your sovereignty. Don't worry that it'll feel funny. You'll feel silly and stupid. Just do it anyway, right? But this card is telling you that you can no longer live in darkness, isolation, and fear. It is time to let go of your old patterns of people-pleasing and passive acceptance of others' agendas. This is exactly what I was saying. It literally says, let go of your old patterns of people-pleasing, right? Because that takes away your sovereignty. Don't make choices to please other people. And this is what I was talking about. This is exactly what I was talking about in the last reading, the midweek reading. It's literally the last one on my YouTube, though. It's time to take your rightful place as a powerful presence in your world. Sovereignty. So this had an affirmation attached to it. It says, I let go of feelings of fear and lack. I let go of feelings of fear and lack. It is safe for me to stand up and make choices that empower me. It is safe for me to stand up and make choices that empower me. I'm going to try to remember to write these affirmations in the, the little description box below. If I forget, just leave me a comment and remind me, and I'll leave it there, because that's really a great affirmation. I love it. And the last card the last card I pulled to clarify this lost lack card, right, is love. Love for self, confidence, love for life, expansion, right? And I'm going to read all from the book again, but only because it's so perfect. It's so perfect. Let me tell you something. I don't care. I am not too proud to say I use guidebooks. You know what? Every deck of cards comes with a guidebook for a reason, right? And I 100% put my trust that if I put up really strong boundaries and I'm really clear with the questions that I ask when I pull cards. So I put a lot of time and effort into cleansing space before I pull cards, etc. The wording that I use when I pull cards. And when I do that, I can trust that the cards that come out will bring the message that needs to come through. I don't have to what am I trying to say? I can use the guidebooks, and literally the guidebook ties everything together perfectly. I don't have to, I don't want to say make things up, because I do think people really can intuitively read cards in a really beautiful way where they're channeling stuff through. But I can literally read from the books, receive channelings, and everything ties together perfectly. I don't know. I'm not too proud to say I use the book, because you can use anybody can pull cards, right? And you can use the books, and you will be amazed. You will be amazed. If you just spend a little bit of time being really clear about what you're asking, right? And setting strong boundaries, claiming your sovereignty in the process, you can do this, right? You can talk to your guides, and you can pull through your own messaging. But right now, this is your message. I'm giving it to you. Because if you're listening to this, this is your message. I promise you. So we've got the love card. I don't even know how I went on that tangent. But, because I was saying I'm going to read from the book, right? Not too proud to say that. The book is perfect, and it literally goes with everything. And you saw, I pull the cards. I haven't cherry picked them out to make this message. This is what's come out for us, right? This is what our guides have chosen for us to hear right now. This is universally something that our little angle, our soul group, needs to hear right now. So, from the book, not too proud, it works. And if this is what works, I don't care. Reading from the book. One of our major reasons for being is to experience love in all its forms, from codependent and need-based love to big, unconditional, universal love. And to understand that love comes in many different forms and guises. There is the innocent, trusting love that a child has for a parent, and the unconditional love a parent has for a child. There is the love one has for self, and the love one has for others. There is the love we feel when we do the things we love, and the love we feel when others appreciate what we do. There is our love for family, love for community, love for nature, love for the gods we choose to worship, whether those gods be born of science or religion, or the humans we choose to idolize. There is sexual love, platonic love, playful, affectionate love, selfless love, crazy love, and more. We are here to learn that love is as multifaceted as we are, and that love is neither intrinsically good nor bad. Love is a cosmic force that will shape us or break us depending on how we choose to experience it. And just as we have a choice in what we experience, we have a choice in how we perceive and experience love. When the love card appears in the present position, and this is considered the present position, the whole reading is present, it speaks of the important role self-love plays in our day-to-day lives. How you feel about yourself in the present will shape your relationships with both yourself and others. It can either motivate or prevent you from following your dreams and nurturing your passions. It will influence all that you endeavor. The presence of the love card in this position asks, how do you feel about yourself? When you look in the mirror, do you like the person staring back at you? Or do your eyes slide away as quickly as possible? What are the words that whisper in your mind as your eyes meet, if they meet at all? If you cannot look yourself in the eyes and like what you see, do you then seek what you cannot give to yourself from others? Do you try to hide your own lack of love for self by being loving and nurturing to others? If so, why do you feel unworthy when you are the most worthy person of them all? Have you allowed society and the media to instill a belief that you are ugly simply because your appearance does not fit with their unnatural and often manipulated idea of what beauty is? The love card asks that you see that you are a divine and beautiful being, a living artwork that tells a unique and amazing story. To love yourself is not narcissism or an act of conceit. It is love. And with this love comes the confidence to push aside unreasonable fears and doubts, and the ability to silence the negative self-talk that tells you that you must not, cannot, should not, simply because you are afraid or believe yourself unworthy. To work with this energy of self-love takes a moment to work with this energy of self-love, take a moment to write a list of all that you like about yourself, all that is working for you. Take pride in what is working for you. Nurture and expand. Make time to do the things that you enjoy and that make you feel good about yourself. Honor your body as the temple it is. It does not matter what size or shape you are, whether you are overweight, muscular, or somewhere in between. Give your body whole and natural foods. Make time every day to move. Breathe. Focus your breathing. Expand your lungs, filling them with life-giving oxygen. Remember, we are all unique, so there is never a need to compare yourself to others or to measure your worth by your perception of others. We are all different. We are not meant to be the same. While the media presents an ideal of what is beautiful, more often than not, that ideal is not reality. It is manipulated and false, but you are real. Love that you are real. Enjoy that you are real. When the love card appears in the present, you are being asked to make the time to love yourself every day. Be kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. Know that you are divine and that you are not only worthy of love, but are loved. Right? And having lack be clarified by self-love, I get it, it's an oversimplification. But it's also the truth in the matter, right? And we have this extra guidance and support coming through with Ariel, right? She's bringing in the healing. The King of Air is guiding us to make right choices, helping us to claim and to stay in our sovereignty, right? Which we can start working on immediately with the power of thought, right? It all supports each other, right? So I'm going to leave you guys with our sovereignty statements, right? And I'll put them in the little section below, whatever it's called, the little blurby box. But just repeat after me, okay? I am a sovereign being. I claim my sovereignty. I stand strong in my sovereignty. And keep doing this, saying this every day. Seriously, it will help. Right. Thank you so much for listening. And I will be back with another reading soon. All right. Bye, guys.